Welcome to the RiverCityGamers Podcast. I'm SCXCR.
I'm Unreal.
I'm Blondeguygamer.
And I'm CanadianJutsu.
It's unfortunate to start on this note, but we have a separate video up on it as well. But our RCG friend RvierCityGamers recently took his own life, so we'd like to start, before we go into E3, with a moment of silence for Akago. Thank you. Alright, I know this is a rough transition, but should we attempt to talk about E3?
I feel like we still need to at least talk about it because, it is like the biggest gaming news thing of the year, so...
There is quite a bit to talk about that we're going to be mostly glossing over the finer details, but we're going to try and get the big ones out. Or if anything that any of us feel like should be mentioned.
So here's how we're going to do this. I'm just going to go through the presentations, some of the games that were from them, and then if you guys want to fill in the blanks or mention things you liked or didn't like, you can go right ahead.
I think that sounds relatively reasonable.
Right, so let's not waste any more time. Let's go straight into the presentations. And first we have EA. And being one of the first, it was also one of the worst.
Yeah, might as well get them out of the way first, right?
Yeah, get that out of the way. I watched 7 minutes of it and I turned it off.
Can I just begin by saying, after watching EA, I was on the fence on whether or not it was better or worse than last year's. It took some time to sink in. No, this was worse. I couldn't believe it.
Someone compared it to watching an early 90s MTV audience show where they're trying to get audience participation, but they're all 14-year-old girls or something.
Well, it didn't help they had a presenter who kept going, "How cool was that?"
Oof, yeah, that's MTV. I can see where that comes from.
I'm just going to steamroll through these games, and they're not going to be in order because I'm saving the one that makes me the most angry for last.
Yeah.
Battlefield 5. Not even 5 minutes into the presentation, they mentioned Battle Royale would be in it.
Yeah. We already knew that, though. That was even though this was pre-E3, that was even pre-E3.
They teased it.
Yeah.
They teased it. There were just rumors, and then they came out. And can we acknowledge how the audience reacted to this news? How there was a audible mix of unenthused boos and cheers. It was just
it was a John Cena reaction.
It was
To be fair, this is I think this was the only major news of saying, hey, we got Battle Royale now because of Fortnite.
In terms of new. We're not counting ports of.
I mean, to give them credit, Battlefield out of all of them can have a battle royale feature to it. I will give them that. It's not oh, Call of Duty has it and Mass Effect gets it or something. It's out of all of their properties, Battlefield seems to be the right choice for this.
Yeah, and it's just a new mode or something they're adding, right?
Yeah, it's not the whole game is battle royale. It's just a mode. It's just a multiplayer mode. It's like zombies in Call of Duty, right? It's just this extra thing that a lot of people will most likely enjoy.
Can we also mention how they almost barely gave time to Battlefield 5 in this presentation? They showed next to nothing here. And they even said, we've got a trailer for the single player thingy over at Microsoft. And it's just I didn't learn anything new about Battlefield 5 other than there's a Battle Royale mode.
Well, they had to cut Battlefield 5 short so they could give way more time to FIFA 19.
The only Nintendo Switch game, by the way, in the entire EA Play conference thing.
Well, from EA, yeah.
Yes, yeah. From them.
Remember how they said that, oh yeah, we're going to support the Switch?
Yeah, here's FIFA.
Although, to be fair, FIFA is still kind of a big thing.
Oh, it's massive.
FIFA's bigger than
though
that.
We are not interested in it, people buy FIFA crazy. It is probably their biggest profit margin.
FIFA is so big, people buy the shit out of games where you play as the manager.
Yeah.
Beyond that, they pimped Origin Access Premier, cloud gaming, whatever. They had Clone War DLC.
Oh, for Battlefront 2. Yeah.
Well, can we also elaborate that they almost throughout this whole thing, they hammered home, not just on Battlefront, but on a couple other games that had multiplayer focus. Checklist, no loot box. Okay, checklist, no premium pass. Checklist. A third thing I forgot.
No pay for power.
No pay for power.
Please clap.
Please clap. This is because Battlefront 2 launched with that shit.
Well,
And
yeah,
was
well, that's the idea.
notorious.
Is they needed to do this at this press conference. They needed to shove it down our faces that we promise we're not gonna do this shit again.
This was a
Which
Stop
means
the
they're
Bleeding
gonna-
conference.
Yeah.
Not even cauterize the wound. Like, Jesus. I will say, I want to see the Count Dooku stuff. Because, look, like, Battlefront 2 had one of the worst launches in history. They've since then rolled out the real game. I'll call it. They rolled out the game that it should have been. And I wouldn't mind revisiting, especially since now the game's going to be, like, dropping in price big time.
And that wasn't the only Star Wars game. Jedi Fallen Order was announced in incredibly awkward fashion.
I fucking love you, Vince Zampella. I swear you did this on purpose, and I love you for it.
Just be off the cuff right in the audience.
For quick elaboration, Vince Zampella, Respawn Entertainment, devs of Titanfall and Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2, don't skip it. Good game. Fantastic. Don't skip it. I have faith in their Star Wars project, but it's like, it's evident that they had nothing to show. So it's like, here's this weird ass on the audience interview. They just sit down with him, and he may have had a couple of drinks or something. He was just like kind of like being coy with everything.
Well, he kind of has to.
We know the title of the
it.
game.
And
like,
then it takes
yeah.
place between episode 3 and 4.
No, it takes place during the dark times between episodes. The dark times.
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah, like the Jedi are being hunted down and shit.
Then they showed Madden, and they got some esports guy with a wrestling belt and Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't know what it says when you can only get Juju Smith-Schuster to endorse your game, but there you are. Beyond that, they had NBA Live 19, because they won't let that die.
This one doesn't have a death stare from one of the dev guys like last year.
Well, that brings me to my next point, which I wrote, Indies impress and show emotion, unlike EA. This was for Unravel 2 and Sea of Solitude.
These were the highlights of EA, which no surprise at this point.
It was pretty cool to have the see Unravel 2 be released that day for that kind of like shadow drop release, and seeing like the actual like developer from SOS explain from the heart about how involved this project is and what it means and everything. Which I guess, it's like the exact opposite of how corporate EA is. So it does feel like that they've got these guys to just show, hey, look, we're not completely heartless. Look at these guys,
Vicarious heart.
But those like we said are the highlights of the conference on 4C, where it's like, hey, look, here's a couple of nifty indie games.
Well, they showed off Anthem and stuff
Last
like that
later,
as well, which I'm pretty optimistic about. I'm not gonna like go head over heels for this. This isn't like put it on my pre-roll, my pre-order, pre-load roster.
They barely had
one play.
They barely had any pre-roll to show. There was like some gameplay mixed with like looping concept art. That was a bad presentation for it.
Yeah,
And just talking about it, yeah.
And they're releasing
more
this
down
like
track.
they're releasing it in February, which like why? How do you not have more to show if you're releasing it within a year? I just like I want it to be like good. There's only a handful of games where I can look at it and say, please be bad. But
Yeah, I mean, that at least looks pretty cool. It's like you're on a planet and you have mechs and there's different classes of mechs and you play with friends.
well, it's
and all
like
that
less
stuff.
mech, but like super armored suits. Like you're like like mechs would be like you have a cockpit and stuff. No, you're.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. I don't know.
And I wouldn't even call them exosuits because those are like, well, maybe you could. I don't know.
They're closer to exosuits than anything that I can think of.
Yeah.
I will say, I would play the shit out of Anthem before I play this last game I'm going to mention. So 2 dickheads come out on stage. What? I'm just telling it like it is. And they say they're going to commentate a match between these 2 douche nozzles on mobile devices.
Oh, right.
And this strategy game comes up on the big screen. I know what this is the moment it shows up, but no one else in the chat did.
I had an inkling, and then I saw like a logo during the gameplay, and it clicked for me. I'm like, oh no.
When you alluded to that, what you were saying, and I did catch on. It's like, and I recognize some stuff too. I'm just like, oh no.
Now what's funny is, Zero Master's not really much of an RTS guy, I would say. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not much of an RTS guy
So
either.
he sees this, and he's the optimist of the group. He's like, RTSs can actually work on mobile. There are examples of this working, and then they start playing the game. He somehow got angrier than most of us at this.
You know what's funny? Like, I knew what kind of game it was the moment I saw the first screen. I'm like, I see both enemy bases. This is a single screen thing. There are 3 distinct spots, and this is before like the gameplay started or the match, for example. Because
Quote unquote.
They did a match on stage, like with fucking live commentary. Like we were watching stupid esports on a mobile game, and I'm just like, what? Like just 3 spots? I'm like, what kind of strategy am I doing? They're just pushing send?
Yeah, so you can only move units to certain spots on the map, at which point they fight each other, and you try to take control of spots, because that somehow launches a nuke at the base. But that doesn't destroy the base, you have to do it 2 times.
Have we actually said what this is yet?
It's... no. Because I don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
We have to, though.
If we don't say it out loud, it doesn't exist.
Give
Give
it
philosophy, right? Yeah.
Give it time.
The RTS that shall never be named again.
StarCraft 3. Wait.
No.
Warcraft 3, actually.
This was pissing on Westwood's grave rivals. I believe shortly after this happened, I immediately said EA dragged a corpse on stage and shoved it into a phone.
I like how you said Westwood's corpse, and I'm like, translator's note, Command and Conquer.
Yeah, it's a mobile connect. Okay, let me put it this way. If you thought like Metroid Prime Federation Force after Other M was bad, try this mobile game after Command and Conquer 4, which is almost universally hated to begin with.
Yeah.
And hasn't been really a new Command and Conquer since. And then they present this mobile game where it's just mobile trash, and it's like, oh,
Bare bones.
And you gotta pay a bunch of shit to get the crystal to do things in the
Remember,
game.
no loot boxes, no
man.
pay for power.
Like I thought mobile game pandering was like at its peak with Final Fantasy 15: A New Empire. Like I don't know if you guys have seen this one that Square released, but it's pretty much a scam. Like it's just a huge money sink scam.
CJ, I saw an advertisement for it.
You know, but I was like, I could see a little bit of gameplay. I can understand, like, it's one of those things where if you spent, every waking hour playing this mobile game, you would be able to somehow compete with the one person that spent $20.
CJ, I saw an ad for that mobile game, and it lasted less than a second because the person that uploaded it fucked up. So it was just like the very beginning of the 15 battle music, and then it just ended. Good ad.
And I thought that was like the peak level that I was like, man, Square Enix is shilling this hard. But no, after seeing what Command and Conquer is looking like now, nope, EA wins. EA was like, wait, hold my beer, Square Enix. We can make this worse.
I'd actually argue that it's still not. I actually argue that's still not as bad as the iOS version of Tales of Fantasia.
In comparison to 15, you mean?
No.
Or even Command Conquer, or at least in terms of like a free-to-play game, like that tries to desperately get your money type of thing, because the game was deliberately difficult in order for you to be like, hey, you can revive yourself if you pay this much, and it's like, oh, you're off, you know.
Another example, Dungeon Keeper, also by EA. You know how well that went?
Yeah, so Dungeon Keeper fans now can join Command Conquer fans in that.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, and the sad truth of this is, yeah, people got really, really upset, and there was a huge backlash to EA when it came to Star Wars Battlefront, right? Because it was a platform game. It was, supposed to be a AAA big budget thing. But then they apologize and say, look, there's no loot boxes, there's no crystals, no premium packs or whatever. But then we just sort of let it happen on mobile devices. And this is coming from someone that really likes rhythm games on my mobile phone. Like, I play Love Live, I play the new, I think it's called Bang Girls, which sounds fucking terrible.
Oh, jeez.
But it's
the
like,
end of the podcast.
But like, it's a guitar band game. I don't know why they call it Bang, but regardless of that, like, and yes, they have transactions and everything, but everything is local. You're able to compete with other people, but you don't get any benefit other than, your Love Live girls or your band girls they give better points, right? So as you play the game and you earn these love tokens or whatever they're fucking called, you can slowly build up your arsenal. It isn't like every single minute I finish a song, it's like, hey, if you spent this much on your crystals, you'd actually be able to S rank this. No, you're able to S rank with even the crappiest of cards. And I think that's it's an important gameplay mechanic where it needs to balance itself, where yes, with just a little extra work, you can be just as good as the person that went out, spent $1,000 just so they could pull their favorite idol girl, right? Yeah. That is like best top tier list of whatever. Whereas, and you look at this stuff, and yeah, it's constantly reminding you it's not a proper RTS, because you're, like you said, you can see both bases. It's as if you're just watching something happen rather than there being any strategy other than, fork over some money and you'll give you a free nuke. And this is the problem, is just because EA has started bowing its head and apologizing for its console games, they're doing the same crap and they're getting away with it on their mobile devices. Like you said, Unreal, look what they did to fucking Dungeon Keeper. It's not cool. These are games from my childhood that they're screwing with. I mean, I played Red Alert more than I played traditional Command and Conquer, but
that's still pretty traditional, though.
But it's still traditional, yeah, right? So you're just like, man, I can see why Zero could get super mad at something like this. Because that's what it is. It's the same thing that they did with Star Wars, but people are just okay with it because it's on a mobile device.
Yeah, it's basically like taking a free-to-play game and being like, yeah, this is what we're doing, but it's like, wait, no. That's not how you should do it. Yeah. You're shilling too much for it and making it too much of oh, put your thing here and now you have to wait, or you can buy something to make it happen instantly, which happens to a lot of free-to-play games, but a lot of other free-to-play games do it better than that.
Yeah,
say the least.
And it makes you feel like you're progressing in some way. Like going back to my rhythm game, you use up your certain amount of, they call it LP. Once that's up, you have to wait for it to recharge. You could just pay to recharge it, or you could spend one of your harder currencies to raise your LP back up to full. But you just have to wait. It allows me to play it for like 20 minutes, then I put it down, and then 5-6 hours later I can play it for another 20 minutes. I mean, I guess some people that want to spend fucking 8 hours in front of this thing, but that's something that Command and Conquer and RTSs are like I can't believe that they don't want to cash in on what Blizzard is doing with StarCraft and StarCraft 2 and everything. They've always had to compete with Blizzard when it comes to their RTS. But
they probably saw stuff like Fallout Shelter, which I actually have been playing, is a much better free-to-play, wait for stuff to happen type of game than whatever this is.
And now it's not, and that's no longer exclusive to mobile. You get it on Switch, PlayStation.
Yeah, well, we were going to mention that anyway when we talk about Bethesda, but Fallout Shelter is a much better example of not not what Command & Conquer's doing. Oh yeah, this was the biggest blunder of EA for me. Like, just
Let alone, I
personally.
think it's the biggest blunder of E3 this year, and it's their
Yeah.
you want, like, stupid EA man right after that comes out and says, yeah, Command & Conquer for new generation, and I, like, with some, like, vitriol in my fucking throat, just went, fuck you. Like, that was the only fuck you I had to put out all E3 this year. Fuck you.
Well, I had
I
one,
don't
but
even
not as
care
intense as
that
that.
much. I don't even care as
As
much
the
for
Command &
Command & Conquer,
As
but,
if the
like, I feel for the Command & Conquer fans. The real
Oh yeah,
ones.
I mean,
I
they're-
feel for them.
I mean, they've
Fuck
been
you, EA.
the fan base has been bitter ever since the series was bought up by EA in the first place, and especially after 4. But now
They
it's
shouldn't
like,
have
now it's
canceled
like,
Command &
but
Conquer
now it's
hype.
like, but now it's pretty much just peaked at this mobile announcement. It's just like everyone is just so done.
It's just we're heading in a direction that it's like, man, they're just moving ships. They're watching as their console things fall flat, and they're like, well, don't worry though, we'll just jump over to the mobile and everybody will be okay with it. And to their credit, people will purchase this, they will download it, and they will shovel money into their hands.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
and
are-
that trailer, if you're watching YouTube on mobile, prepare to see that trailer forever on any mobile ad now. Like, oh, God, gross. It's just like every single generic-ass mobile trailer you've ever seen.
I'll be shocked if this game lasts longer than a few months.
Well, CJ, you mentioned new direction. Let's go to a different day of E3 entirely. With a much, much better conference. I know that's not saying much, but this actually was a good conference. Microsoft. Holy shit, they had a lot of games.
Well, that was the thing, is I was talking to Zero about this, and I was saying, you know what, what could Microsoft do with all the stuff that PlayStation and Nintendo has? How are they going to have a good conference or show something that is worthwhile? Well. How about that? I will eat that sock really hard, because there was a lot of things, like you said, that they showed off. So many games that everybody's excited for.
The thing is, with the Microsoft conference, right at the beginning, they're like, we have this many games to show, this many exclusives, this many world premieres. Thing is, when Microsoft says exclusive, there's always a little asterisk at the end of it. Like, is it a Microsoft exclusive? Okay, it's coming to PC too. Is it a console exclusive? Okay, that's going to PS4 and or Switch. But even considering that, just the sheer volume of content they had in here. And because they went before Sony and Nintendo and all these other people, they got to be like the guys who broke some of these games that were coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say this conference was one of the most consistent. And also the whole, like, console exclusive stuff, that's also, like, console launch exclusive. So it could be, like, Xbox first, then whatever.
Yeah, timed
Yeah.
exclusives.
Or console first, then PC. Who knows? They elaborated with, like, every single trailer. It would be, like, world premiere or exclusive. But, you know.
I'm just gonna speed through this because there is so much they showed. Halo Infinite announced, showed some Fallout 76, Ori and the Will of the Wisps,
Yay.
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is kind of a lead-in for Life is Strange 2, Crackdown 3, Metro Exodus. They had Sea of Thieves content, Cursed Sales, and Forsaken Souls. A Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, this one focused on Frozen. There were a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers here. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition.
Yay. Now we can get the PS3 content finally.
Forza Horizon 4, We Happy Few, The Division 2 revealed, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Black Desert, Skate 4, no wait, it's not Skate 4, it's Session. Thanks for cock-teasing me. Devil May Cry 5,
Oh, yes.
Jump Force,
Yes.
The Delicious Last Course DLC for Cuphead, Battletoads is coming back.
Yeah.
Long rumored, never believed until now.
Gosh, I wish I was working in a video game store.
Start calling GameStop for it now. Dying Light 2, Tunic and a shit ton of other indies. Just Cause 4, a trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, Gears Pop.
Thanks, Oni!
When I saw this, I thought, Microsoft, no, you're doing so well, you cannot end on this note. And they didn't. They also showed Gears Tactics and Gears of War 5.
Keep in mind, they actually ended with Cyberpunk.
Yes.
Cyberpunk hijacked the video feed of the conference and sent out a bunch of Witcher 3 Blood and Wine codes in the trailer, by the way. All those, like, weird, like, those were all CD keys. Yep. Probably all gone by now.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Good on you, CD Projekt Red.
But damn, yeah, they hit the ground running with a lot of those things. Yeah, there was a couple like, but that's just because that. But to me, I always say whenever I turn my head or I go, it's mostly along the lines that these aren't games that I particularly play. I'm not saying that they're going to be bad. Like, for example, Just Cause, was it 3 or 4? I think 4. You know, I'm like, never really played it, but I know a lot of people that like the Just Cause series, and I've watched the videos, and it's sometimes really, really enjoyable to watch, but I don't want to play it just because, you know, it just doesn't interest me. But that's the big thing is, like, I look at that conference and say, man, like you said, Scott, they just were able to expose almost everything new right out the gate. You know, like, holy crap.
And there was something for pretty much everyone, whether you're like an Xbox fan of like the Halo and Gears of War or whatever else is, you know, it was a good variety of stuff to show that, hey, we have support for all of these types of games.
Let's bring up Devil May Cry 5, for example. One of the hypest trailers at E3 with one of the hypest songs in E3.
I'm going to say, to me, that was probably the most exciting thing to come out of E3 this year. Like, I was, like, obviously it had been rumored for, like, a very long time, the DMC5, that they trademarked the name and there was everything like that. And when there was that initial showing of the trailer where you're watching it for the first time and you're staring at it.
It could be anything. And
you're looking, it could be anything, but then there was this sinking feeling in my heart that this was like, oh, they're continuing DMC. They're not gonna actually make 5. They're just continuing DMC. And then glorious Nero, opens his mouth and revs his fucking sword, and you're like, oh my god, it's Johnny. Oh my god, we're going back. And everything else afterwards, where you just watch as they show cutscenes and in-game footage that are using the same engine, and they look freaking fantastic. It's
actually using the RE engine.
Oh, well.
Nero's using the same moveset, though. He's using the same animation.
It doesn't matter. The RE engine is really good, and it goes into something obviously later that we'll talk about. But man, DMC wins it for me. That and Kingdom Hearts, but that's more along the lines.
I wouldn't call myself a Devil May Cry fan. I only bought 1 through 3 on PS2. I've yet to play them. I can't stop watching that game's trailer.
Yeah, but you can still appreciate what the games are.
That's exactly what I'm doing by rewatching 5's trailer nearly 50 times at this point.
Yeah, I can appreciate the series and all of the excitement behind 5 too, so.
And don't get me wrong, I liked DMC as a game. It played incredibly well. It just the game didn't need a story reboot. Like, that was the weirdest thing about DMC, was the fact that they're like, cool, Ninja Theory's like, we're gonna make this awesome game, but we want to tell our own cool, like, it felt like a fan fiction about, you know, like, this is what Capcom made, but we can make it better.
Yeah, like a fan fiction by a 15-year-old who's like, oh man, he's gonna
say fuck you to a demon. It's gonna be so
badass.
Yeah, so badass. Whereas in, like, one thing I liked about DMC's story is it fleshed out fucking Virgil better, but we may learn a lot more about Virgil in this one, because I have a feeling he's coming back in this one.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Ninja Theory, because there was something else I didn't mention about this conference, which is Microsoft announced a bunch of studios that they acquired to help make games for them. Playground Games, Compulsion Games, Undead Labs, and formerly indie AAA champion, but now working for Microsoft, Ninja Theory.
And you know what's funny? The Devil May Cry reveal happened sometime after that. And when they had Itsuno come out, they basically kind of like, hey, it's been 10 years since Devil May Cry 4. Basically throwing the reboot under the bus, no mention. And it's like, you do this the moment like Ninja Theory gets announced as a Microsoft thing. It's just like, ooh.
Well, it's like they know the reception DMC got. But yeah, but them acquiring studios, it's like, I mean, sure, it can be seen as like, oh, they're just buying a bunch of studios because they can't make games, ha ha ha. But the one thing about Microsoft has always been that their first party lineup isn't always their strongest suit. So I feel like them acquiring more studios would definitely help them with their brand and being like, hey, we can compete with first party stuff along with Sony and Nintendo, and not just have Gears of War and Halo, you know? And Forza.
Acquiring Ninja Theory, like I can't really think of like a really super bad Ninja Theory game. Like, I'm not saying that there are bad ones, but like
they made like 3 games, so
yeah, there was
like, it's still
didn't they
like
make Enslaved?
Oh, did they?
I keep hearing about Enslaved.
Yes, they did.
And I keep hearing that it's like jank as fuck, but worth playing. It's almost like Nier in that regard. The original Nier.
I've played
jank as fuck, but play it.
I've played Heavenly Sword. It's not too bad. Hack and slash type of
that
game.
one I did not hear was jank. I just heard that it was not challenging at all and almost movie-ish. Sounds about right.
Yeah, and then
for,
they actually made
for
it
early PS3. Probably
and then they actually made it into a movie.
Oh god! Wasn't Andy Serkis in that game?
Yes, he was the villain.
Okay.
But honestly, probably DMC. I mean, in terms of like, I guess the direction they were going with the series. But then it's like, nope, 5's back. We're back on track.
A sick logo. 5 has a sick logo.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I can't pick individual games out of this conference because I could like pick a bunch and be like, I'm looking forward to Halo, even though we don't know anything about it other than it's a new engine. Also, it's not numbered because I apparently like looked into this. Before Halo 5's release, 343 pretty much stated 5 was going to be the last numbered installment because they felt that every Halo thing is important to the universe. So, in essence, Infinite is 6, just not a number.
Just the 6th main entry.
Yeah, it is. It is the next main entry, but we just don't know too much about it. We know more about Gears 5 than we do Halo, for example.
Yeah, I still need I really need an Xbox One if I want to play Gears of War 4, but but yeah, I'm always down for Halo, even though I still haven't played Halo 5 yet.
The Cuphead DLC reminds me that I need to play Cuphead.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, same here.
How do they make another cute character? God damn it!
Yeah, make it out of a salt shaker. That was really.
It's like
that's
hey,
on point.
Yeah, it's so on point, man.
They know.
So good.
But Legendary Chalice as Miss Chalice, I'm like, oh no, that's cute. God damn it, good art style again.
Yeah, like just like to jump onto a little bit of things, like on the show floor, almost all the games that they showed off, other than I believe Halo, they actually had like playable demos for them.
Gears 5 was playable? I mean,
yeah, apparently.
I believe it.
But like they were saying that they were on the show floor and most of them were playable in some regards. Like, and a lot of the times whenever they showed anything that had gameplay as well as it, they were playable, which is pretty crazy.
I don't think DMC 5 was playable.
Oh, it wasn't? I thought it was.
No, I don't believe it was playable on the show floor. But they were still like conducting interviews about it, and they were still showing some extra footage, just not playable.
Maybe it wasn't playable for the general public, but they were showing off like some gameplay that somebody either recorded or was like very highly scripted. Sort of like I know this is jumping ahead, but sort of like The Last of Us, where it was like, look at this really scripted gameplay.
I'm kind of looking forward to Metro Exodus because I've played the first 2 Metros. And I've played them on 360, so maybe I'll get this in Xbox One too, just to be kind of consistent there.
I have not touched the Metro, so I have no input here, unfortunately.
They're good. They're good games.
I can't say I'm happy that it looks like We Happy Few has rolled back the survival style development decisions.
And that is coming out in 2 months as of recording. I just want to wait. I'm just going to wait till it's released and see how it is overall. because like back when it was in early access, I was turned off immediately just from seeing it. I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore.
The style of it at least looks intriguing, although it is going to be one of those cases of where it will be if the substances will make up for the style, you know.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they retooled it. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on it because that turnoff really hurt, and it's you gotta earn it back. It might. I just don't know right now.
Just general thoughts on Microsoft. I've never said these words, and okay, I have, but I said it sarcastically, and I actually mean it this time. Good job, Phil Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
You should watch some interviews with Phil Spencer, specifically with Jeff Gertzman. At least for both this year and last year's, they're good stuff. You should definitely watch those interviews with him. Phil's doing the best he can with Xbox. I still believe that, and this was a good showing.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, and this was a good.
Yeah, this was a good.
So Microsoft was
straight up good. This was.
And we go from Microsoft into Bethesda. And they started off with their hot new game, Andrew WK.
Andrew WK Simulator.
He was there to just play an intro for Rage 2.
Which isn't a surprise, because they
because
thanks Canada. We got half the people responsible here live in the podcast. What do you guys say?
Oh, they had so many digs.
Hey, we're not part of Walmart.
Yeah,
but you're a part of Canada, so you're half Walmart.
No. It's like saying, "Oh, we're responsible for Target going under up here."
Well, maybe, I don't know.
Well, we kind of are in a way, but let's get back on topic.
Yeah,
Back on target.
So
Target
on target
here with Rage 2, which I never played the first one, so I don't know. I
ended up getting the first game because it was on sale.
$4
After Rage 2 was announced, because it was like $4. Just like, yeah, why not? Let's check out the first Rage at least sometime.
I played it on 360 back in the day. One of the worst endings ever. Fun game. One of the worst endings ever, though.
Like we talking Mass Effect 3 level of oh god.
No, this one's a non-ending.
Oh, okay.
So I'd say worse.
All right, it's one of those to be continued but never got continued. I mean, I guess now it's getting continued.
I don't think they're even following up on that story. I don't know.
All right.
After Rage 2, there was a fair amount of Elder Scrolls, as you might expect. There was Elder Scrolls Legends, a card game.
That was mentioned last year, and we weren't excited ever.
Although they did announce expansions for Elder Scrolls Online, particularly Wolf Hunter and Murkmire.
I'm sure that means something to people that know Elder Scrolls.
They're not full expansions. They're like patches that are being added to Somerset, right?
Close enough.
Yeah, they're sort of like with Final Fantasy XIV, where we have these sort of bigger like patches, but they're not like full expansions that come out every 3 to 4 months.
You know, it is a full expansion, though. And by expansion, I mean game. Doom Eternal.
Mm-hmm.
I called this. From Pete Hines' teases about Hell on Earth, I'm like, please Doom 2 show up. Well, this is actually Doom 5 now, if you think about it.
Well, it's the sequel to the 2.
We'll call it Doom 2016
Yeah.
2.
2016. I'm glad they didn't call it just Doom 2. Otherwise, it would...
I would have been
Oh,
chronologically confused.
We're gonna eventually get to like barcode numbers.
No. It'd be like
well,
it would be
fucking
it would be,
Call of Duty's there.
well, it would be like Doom numerical 2 instead of Roman numeral 2.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Tales of Destiny 2. But,
they didn't show anything because they're saving that for QuakeCon, and I'm like, oh, you bastards! I can't wait.
That's okay.
I can't wait.
That's a good time to show it
that's
off when people are all hyped up on Doom and Quake and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I say you bastards, in this case, I'm like, I can't wait. God damn it.
And I hoping for Christ's sakes that the multiplayer is actually worth a damn this time around.
I feel like with the feedback that pretty much like everyone mentioned out about it, it's very possible they either will just not have it or will do it right.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned QuakeCon earlier, because Quake Champions was here again, and they announced a free period for the game.
To elaborate, which, well, probably by the time this podcast goes up, you can't do it anymore, but you can just grab it for free on Steam and keep it forever.
That's what I did.
That's what I did, and I will never be able to run it on this fucking laptop.
I think I can run it. It's just I don't know if I'll ever actually get around to playing it because I have like a million games. So, but maybe I'll still try it. I do like I did play through the first 2 Quakes, but I never really got into the multiplayer aspect of Quake. But this could still be fun, I guess. I don't know.
I also feel like they did this free period because player count's not looking great.
Well, I mean, it's no Lawbreakers, but
it isn't, but struggling.
yeah.
Well, this is the thing is like by giving it some free time for people to try it out and not feel obligated to. Yeah, they may bring in a couple of people. That's what a lot of these types of things need to do, though, is they need to offer free weekends for people to play everything to make them actually invest time into it. Because, like, as cool as Quake was for just, like, arena tournament style, like, fighting and deathmatch and everything like that, it was influential, in the gaming sphere. I haven't said, wow, I want to play Quake again since the, like, late 1990s. Maybe early 2000s, right? Like even when I think it was like a launch title, like Quake 3 or Quake 4 was a launch title. I think it was Quake 4 for like the 360.
Yeah,
I didn't play it like at all. Wasn't even interested. So
it's not like the old Quakes.
Yeah. So, and it's sad because they have a whole convention dedicated to this type of thing, and there's a die-hard community that still plays Quake 1 and 2 online and even competitively.
And Quake 3 Arena.
I think Quake 3 is like the big.
That was the big one.
Yeah.
Moving away from Quake.
Quaker Roads.
They also had some DLC ready for Prey, including Not Prop Hunt.
Isn't it free too?
The Prop Hunt? That's not out quite yet. I think that's free.
Okay, that's the free one. Because I thought I heard something about DLC being free or something like that.
Like that and the New Game Plus, I think, is the free updates.
Yeah, I like how they said story mode. I'm like, but what does that mean?
I know the one that I'm thinking of now.
It was Moon Crash is paid, which is like
kind of like a survival type of thing.
Yeah, a randomly generated survival type thing.
Yeah, I never got around to getting the new Prey, but it looks pretty good. So maybe with this new stuff, it might entice me more to actually try it out.
It's good. I still don't know why it has the Prey name, but it's good.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, there's no actual link to the original Prey.
Zero.
Prey 1 and 2.
No,
yeah.
it's nothing.
It's, I mean,
they're spiritual successors. Yeah.
No, they just took the name and ran.
Well, I mean, it's like after like Prey 2 kind of like fizzled out. It's like this is just what we get out of
Top
it.
10 anime deaths, saddest anime deaths.
Number 1, Command and Conquer.
Oh, that is number 1.
On that note, Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yeah, that's a co-op focused Wolfenstein 2 thing.
With, correct me if I'm wrong, the twin daughters of BJ?
Yes.
Yeah, I need to play the new Wolfensteins.
Which does make sense because, well, like your wife in the game is like super pregnant, so like yeah, so like it makes sense that it'll go from there.
How does one get super pregnant?
Oh, I don't even want to say what happens at the end of the game. Because there's some dumb shit, man, that I can't even.
But regardless, yeah, it's a co-op. I've heard really good things about the new Wolfenstein.
Speaking of dumb shit, there was what we thought was a parody trailer for Skyrim for Alexa. It's not a joke.
Can we mention Todd Howard came out on stage and pretty much announced all of these? He was playing up the audience today. Super aware about everything, especially about like all the Skyrim ports, which led into the I can't believe it's real Alexa thing. Because they played it off as a joke, like you said.
I mean, at least they're having like a sense of humor about it. It's like, yeah, we know, type of
I
thing.
eat all the cheese.
Nice, good old smorgasbord of cheese. But I'm not adverse to hamming it up with this type of thing, though. It's not like Ubisoft Mr. Caffeine type of hammy, where it's just everybody's like, what the hell's happening? Well, it's just sort of like a guy that is super passionate about things that are very mundane. to me is like that's what I want to see from some of these conferences. Right?
Yeah, Todd Howard wasn't like hamming.
This is why
wasn't hamming at all.
Reggie
He was
is
just
a national.
he was
treasure,
just like
right?
soft spoken about it, just like.
It was like deadpan comedian kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it also helps with his goddamn voice as well. That helps. That like some of the ways he delivers it, just.
Well, I mean, I think it's time that we stop beating around the bush. There's the big announcement from Bethesda.
Fallout 76.
Yeah, sure, that one. Let's talk about that one.
I had nothing against West Virginia before I started seeing these Fallout 76 trailers everywhere, and now I want nothing to do with West Virginia.
Not even the West Virginia Basketball League.
That's the exception.
As a fan of the Fallout series, I'm very, very apprehensive of being like, I can't wait for this. There's a lot of things and decisions in 76 that I am not too cool about.
Like the online, the nukes.
Yeah. Just,
I mean,
The map that glows in the fucking dark.
on its own, it's still a new full Fallout game. Like,
Yeah.
and you can still play as a single player like the others.
But
Mhm.
there's actually no NPCs, by the way. Like no, friendly NPCs.
Well, I think it's because it's focused, I guess, because of the multiplayer aspect, as well as the fact that this takes place only 25 years after the bombs dropped, which means this is a prequel of sorts. So this is like, I guess, before things were established and settled. It's still like a super barren wasteland.
yeah.
Um,
Where you're sort of, you're actually in the midst of rebuilding, right?
Yeah,
so it's not like,
because Vault 76 is like one of the first vaults where it's like, okay, go out and try and establish order type of thing.
Yeah, and it's also why they brought back the building feature from 4 here and expanded upon it.
And hopefully it'll be better and not like kind of broken like it was in 4. But
CJ, if you want to be sure, they're gonna run the beta,
yeah, I know.
the break everything test application or whatever.
yeah, and with the multiplayer aspect,
Break everything.
and with the multiplayer aspect, I am definitely mixed on this type of thing. It's like on one hand, cool, you can finally go out and explore a Fallout world with your friends, but at the same time, you could run into other people, and and if my experience with Sea of Thieves event is anything to indicate, like you'll mostly just get attacked and grieved and all this.
100%.
Yeah.
Back
And
to
especially the Fallout community. Like, actually, let's just say the people that play Bethesda games. Like, you look at some of the more popular Skyrim channels or the Fallout channels. Some of them are like super, super lore heavy, where they're just like everything needs to be like accurate. My immersion must stay intact. And then others, it is just about screwing around in the world. So as much as like, just say I want to play Fallout very lore friendly, right? I can't. I wouldn't be able to with the guy running around in like just his underwear with like a horse head on.
Hey, to be fair, those types of players, they only like New Vegas, and that's the only new Fallout they'll only like.
Yeah.
Forever. Like 76 probably won't win those people over either. But again, I'm only talking about like the super hardcore Fallout fans that only like the first 2 in New Vegas, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I'm just gonna I'll try the beta, and if I have my problems with it, I will just let it go, and then I'll see what a real release is like, and then say, all right, please give me proper single player. Like, as much as like, oh yeah, there's going to be no NPCs. It's about working either together or hating each other, and then just like, then just make an MMO, please.
Well,
this is what it should be. It's like, just make an MMO.
They don't want to take numbers from Elder Scrolls Online.
Well, here's the thing. Fallout Online was kind of a thing that was sort of in plan for like a long time, and then I think eventually Bethesda finally got the rights to Fallout Online. So I guess this is the closest thing we're getting to Fallout Online.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what people will probably wanted, or at least.
Oh, we'll see. It's one of those like cautionary, like I am going up to a body of water and dipping my toe in it, but I'm not jumping full force into it.
Well, yeah, especially
As
in
a
Fallout.
fan, right?
Well, yeah,
That
especially in
loves
Fallout because it's most likely radioactive. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like, which limb do I want? Which secondary limb
I
do I
mean,
want?
I'll still gladly play this over Brotherhood of Steel, but that's just kind of my go-to thing that I'm known for as a Fallout fan.
Just
So,
just make sure you have a always online internet connection, or you're not even going to boot up the game.
I mean, would you want to play
Yeah.
CJ? We could explore it together.
Yeah, we could. I would love to be in Fallout Sim City. That'd be great. It's you know what? In the open beta, let's play it together and record our findings and see.
CJ, you're buying
how
that
it goes.
helmet. That wearable helmet.
Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, start your scalping.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
My friend actually has the Pip-Boy, and I tried it on. I'm like, okay, then that's it.
You're not a true fan unless you buy the helmet.
Just a few more notes about Bethesda's presentation. They showed Elder Scrolls Blades, which is a mobile game, and looked kind of jank.
I've heard from the show floor it's better than expected. Like the combat is super simple and stuff, but it's pretty impressive for a phone game.
Yeah, it does look technologically impressive for a mobile version. It's just whether or not it'll actually play well.
Do you encounter more than one enemy at a time?
No, I'm pretty sure short floor said just like it's one-on-one encounters. But it's a free Elder Scrolls game, so
Oh, it is free?
no loot boxes, no pay to power.
We're not going down that road again. Next announcement. Holy shit, Bethesda announced a new original franchise, Starfield.
Oh yeah, that's basically their new IP that they're working on. They didn't really show,
And that's all we know about it.
they just announced it essentially.
And they announced one more thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
Todd Howard realized he has another hand to count on, because we're now up to Elder Scrolls 6.
Man, I love Title Card, the game.
No, my favorite title card was the Elder
Man.
Scrolls 6 background, but it said Skate 4 instead.
This is coming from a person that lost his shit when they put Metroid 4, when Metroid Prime 4 up. I was like, oh my god, Metroid Prime 4, this is amazing. But now I'm like, Elder Scrolls 6, yay, but please show me something.
Our friend Tigeru Chimaru lost her shit when those words popped up on screen.
And the best part was she was like so mad for nearly the whole thing because of Elder Scrolls card game and whatever, and the mobile game washed away the moment the number 6 happened.
Yeah, they pretty much had to at that point just to reassure everyone, like, yes, we are working on it.
Yeah, Todd Howard was basically just being like a little bit coy. It's like,
Skyrim
okay,
is
here's the other
finally-
game you guys wanted to look forward to.
After almost 10 years, Skyrim is finally dead.
No, Elder Scrolls 6 starts with a guy that tells a story, and the story is Skyrim, and you play through the whole story. Todd,
You
did
play
the job.
Skyrim before you play Elder Scrolls 6?
No, it's just Skyrim again.
In VR.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was that was the final big announcement, and
I didn't. Yeah, and overall, I didn't get to say much about Rage 2. We kind of glossed over it. Looks fun. I want to play it.
yeah, we also
That's all I have
kinda-
to add to that.
We also sort of glossed over, though we mentioned it a bit earlier, where it's like they're releasing Fallout Shelter for PS4 and Switch.
I already spoiled it, just like how
and,
Walmart Canada spoils everything.
And in light of all the Fallout news, I decided to actually download Fallout Shelter, not on those, but on Steam, because to me it made the most sense to play a mobile, tap game with a mouse and everything, and it actually plays pretty well as a free-to-play management type of game.
It probably plays pretty good on the Switch too, because the touchscreen.
I looked at the story; it didn't say you could use you
Oh,
played in
really?
the touchscreen thing.
That's weird. Also,
Yeah.
I would never want to use the touchscreen on the Switch. I was like, it looks sleek and clean. I don't want my fingerprints on it.
Just wipe it
Even
out.
with like the screen protector. No.
Get those special Switch gloves that the third-party people are selling.
What? Well, that'll slip out of my Switch hand and then it'll all break. I'm scared.
Well, then get their third-party screen and Switch protector,
No, I'm good.
as well as
Anyways,
their rubber controllers.
Switch's screen protectors aside, Bethesda's conference was all right.
They should have ended with Andrew WK again. Like, they should have brought him back out.
And
like,
then he plays the Skyrim thing, not the Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls theme.
No,
Like
and
his synth
Andrew
version
WK's
of it.
only lyrics are Dovahkiin Fusro Da.
Todd Howard, you done it again.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's Bethesda.
Bethesda was one I had to sit on, thinking about like how they did. All right is the best I can say. It's like it was fine.
It was alright.
All right.
All right.
Now to the only conference that matters. Devolver Digital.
Oh God.
Oh, was that? Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah. Thankfully, it was short though.
So they did their usual thing of parodying. It doesn't have the same impact as last year because that came out of nowhere. Whereas this time we were expecting some craziness. Nina's alive somehow, even though her head exploded last year. She pimped Loot Box Coin, which you can actually buy from Devolver's store. It was $100 the last I checked.
By the way, it's something we glanced over. The price changes like every hour. So
Yeah, every hour, and this is a quote, for no discernible reason. They showed My Friend Pedro, which looks like an entertaining game. They showed Metal Wolf Chaos, because that's coming less now.
that was the announcement that Devolver on Twitter teased, and that's the only reason I was looking forward to them this time.
And of course, they teased this while pimping the Devolver Digital Entertainment System Classic. And here's the bizarre thing about these presentations. All of them together form a storyline. Because the presentation ends with the guy who lost an arm last year showing up with an arm cannon, riddling Nina with bullets until her dying words, "check a look," escape her lips and she dies. And then she gets turned into RoboCop.
And we'll find out next year.
Yeah, we have to wait till next year to see what happens next.
I can't wait to play Metal Wolf Chaos. I'm so glad they pulled it off. And you can actually thank Super Best Friends for this. Because they helped get the word out, and it caught on to Devolver Digital, and then Devolver reached out to FromSoft.
I'm thanking
Talking to you.
Murphigator for this.
Oh yeah, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he speedran Metal Wolf Chaos at a GDQ.
I didn't get to really watch that. But when I saw the LP and all the stuff, when the LP came out from Best Friends, From Software had the... Oh my god. I don't know if I want to pull this tweet up, but why is noise of Metal Wolf Chaos now or something? Just like reading it out in English is
it was
not
like,
great.
It was like Google translated English, pretty much.
Yeah. I believe Devolver or whatever actually revealed on Twitch stream, like they name dropped Best Friends about it. It's like word was getting out about it and it caught our attention, blah blah blah. So yeah, you can thank a bunch of people for this finally coming out. I don't think it had a release date. They may have said October. Could be wrong. I'm getting it straight up. It's better than paying $400+ to import the original Xbox version that you can't even play on an American Xbox. So
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah. Now it's the hunt for Steel Battalion controller and shit. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. And that will bring us into day... Well, is it 2, 1, 0?
I think
I
it's
believe
one
Monday is technically day 1.
Yeah, technically day one, when the show is open to the public and everything like that.
Wait, was E3 open to the public again, or because
Yeah.
they opened it to the public last year? I just don't know if they continued that.
Yeah, they did.
Uh-oh. Okay, so
Okay, well, we'll start with the most boring conference first. Square-Enix.
Oh man, Square.
can we talk about how blue balls this was? They teased like, hey, wait for the end for something, and spoiler alert, there was nothing.
I think it was more so just like watch to the end, like watch the whole thing, even though it's like there was something at the
That
end.
was not worded the right way then.
I know.
Yeah, it wasn't worded the right way. And see, I'm not against them doing 30 to 45 minutes, just like the Nintendo Direct, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
length is not the problem.
the length
here.
was not the problem. It was the fact that almost everything was already shown, or it felt like these really, really low end like trailers that would just come out randomly throughout the year, right? Like if Kingdom Hearts wasn't shown at the Xbox conference, it would have been a bigger deal, because then it would have shown off that Frozen blah 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 is in this for the people that care. But even then, you're just sort of like, I already know about this. Just Cause 4. I already know about this.
Can we mention a big waste of Keith David voiceover?
Yeah.
Big waste. Unfortunate. Can we also mention quickly about the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer and how it's nearly the same as the Xbox One with some tiny differences that...
I mean, there was like a few extended scenes, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they showed off Ratatouille. Apparently, Ratatouille is getting a world, or at least a mini game.
That may have been a summon, where Chef Ramsay will scold you if you fuck up a button press. I'm guessing here. It's fucking raw.
Well, that's one thing that is being shown off about Kingdom Hearts that I'm quite excited for. But I'll save that for when we talk about Sony.
Now, there was one surprise Square had. You gotta give them this. There was a game called Babylon's Fall. Was it Fall?
Yes.
Because I know Babylon was in it. Okay. It's like, that looks weird. Developed by Platinum, and we're just like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a medieval, like Dark Souls-y type look to it.
But we know nothing other than Platinum's making it.
Yeah, that we only know that Platinum's making it, but man, Platinum's been making some pretty good games.
I feel like they got this project from Square because Nier did so well.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like,
and it is getting a
yeah, come on, get on my game, yeah.
And that is getting a definitive edition for the Xbox One. And
well, they also showed that trailer here as well. So yeah, in case we missed it, Xbox, it showed it here. Just it didn't during Squares. They didn't mention Xbox One X enhanced. That was the one difference in the trailer.
The trailer did say that it was on Xbox.
No, during Xbox's conference, it was like Xbox One X enhanced, where the spot where it said coming to Xbox instead. That was all that was changed, by the way. It's text.
Okay, they just
same exact trailer though.
Yeah, everything else was just stuff we'd already seen elsewhere or already knew about, except The Quiet Man.
There was
that
weird ass trailer.
It had a Quantum Break sort of look to it.
Yeah, that was the other new IP.
You say that, CJ, but wait till Sony.
Oh yeah.
Well, they also showed a bit of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which we already kind of knew about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they had the actually extended gameplay.
Looks recent.
Looks recent. Looks recent.
It looks fun. I mean, I like the reboot Tomb Raiders. Like I haven't finished like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, what's it called? Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Didn't you become the Tomb Raider in Tomb Raider?
Yeah,
because
so
this is the third time we have to become the Tomb Raider if she wasn't already. Wasn't that?
And they're soft. There's completely soft reboots too, where it's like this isn't her first outing, but it is her first outing, but it's her first plane outing or something random or whatever.
But you are the Tomb Raider. No, become it again.
Yeah. No, it's more like
a new experience.
Like Lara murders hundreds of people simulator. They didn't
How
show
to become
up in
Nathan
tombs.
Drake.
It was her in the forest murdering everybody that was in the forest.
And in between the murderings, she gets thrown around.
Yeah. She gets to slide down mountains with her leather skin.
But that was pretty much it. Like, they ended with Kingdom Hearts, and then it's like, oh, that's it?
Yeah, they showed like a scissor reel of like all the trailers with like a cool music thing going on, and then it just showed all the copyright stuff.
Yeah, abrupt cut to the copyright. It's like, oh,
yeah. So there was no stay till the end or watch all the way through, blah blah blah.
Nothing on FF7 remake.
Or like the DLC for 15. Like the second wave of DLC for Final Fantasy 15. I'm even amazed that they didn't show off the Royal Edition.
Oh, yeah, they talked about Final Fantasy 14 here, didn't they?
Yes. Oh my God, that is another big.
That's news for you.
That's news for me, and I mean it is technically news for you guys too because it goes both ways. Is the Final Fantasy 14 is teaming up with fucking Monster Hunter, and so in 14, as the person that plays 14 is if you're level 70 and you've completed the Stormblood expansion storyline, you'll be able to go into an 8-man trial facing off against a Rathalos. Which means 8 players, so 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 4 DPS face off against, a gigantic monster that has a bunch of core mechanics. And most likely it will also have an extreme version of it as well. So there'll be like a story-esque reason on why we're fighting it, and then there will be like the now Big Daddy Blue Rathalos will come out or something like that, and now we have to fight him, and he's got completely different mechanics that are super punishing.
You get
So that's pretty
Palicos.
exciting.
You get Palicos. They're there.
Yeah,
That's how they revealed it.
And that's the thing is like, is the Palico like a minion, or is it going to be like just an NPC in the game? Because whenever they've done crossovers like this before, like with Dragon Quest and like Lightning, but way back when A Realm Reborn first came out, Lightning Returns, or at least I think 13.2 had come out, and Lightning was just in 14. She had all these cutscenes and everything dedicated to her as well. So it'd be interesting to see what comes over. I think it's pretty much just a Pelico talking to you and say, "Hey, there's this gigantic fucking monster," and I think they call it Brihem's Metal, which is a monster hunter looking area that's in Stormblood. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting if they obviously I'm probably going to record my first fight against it just to sort of show it off. And with that, though, it wasn't shown off in this.
It wasn't shown off in any press conference.
But in Monster Hunter World, they are releasing the Behemoth as an actual monster, and it's not like a timed monster either. It's just this is the next monster.
Yeah, they just said free title update.
Yeah, free title update. Here's a fucking Behemoth from Final Fantasy.
And here's Cactus Boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and
Cactuar.
maybe your Pelico can dress up like a Cactuar.
Yeah, it's pretty much got to be that.
Or it's a quest where we have to chase after him, because in most Final Fantasies they're used as something that the character has to chase after and stuff. So we may have to chase after this thing, and we get special rewards. Praise be, we get a cactus suit or a Tomberry. A Tomberry would be great. But there isn't a release date, and they haven't stated on how long the events will take place. So if you want to follow and you want to play the 14 trial, all you need to do, according to the website, is to buy the game, register it as a copy, and then get to level 70. Totally simple. And beat the main scenario, which is, not hundreds of hours of gameplay. Though they have streamlined, I will state that if you're playing most days, 4 or 5 hours, you can probably get there. With all the stuff that's in the game now, you can get there probably within like 3 weeks. So if you're really excited to fight it against the Rathalos in a different game, it's not impossible. You could do it in the 30-day trial if you're actively playing the game, not just sort of sitting there. And if you want to spend more, you can boost yourself to level 60 and like complete the story up until that point with boost potions. But that's just a dirty thing that Square is doing.
Well, that was pretty much it for Square, though. It was underwhelming content-wise. I mean, CJ got something, and we technically got something out of it too, Monster Hunter, which we didn't know what was until like a bit later, so like post-conferences and whatever.
Well, it made sense. Like, they don't usually do like a crossover without it bleeding into the other.
Yeah.
There's still stuff with like the thing that Zero likes, the Common Rider stuff, Gyro Ranger, or whatever it's fucking called. I don't know what it's called. It's in there. Like, you can still get these items. They're like still in the game. So this Rathalos may just stay. Since it's going to be a trial, I wouldn't doubt that it would just stay, especially if the Behemoth is staying in Monster Hunter. So it may just be part of the world now, which is totally cool by me. It looks great in the game engine. It looks like it fits in with the lore of Final Fantasy and dragons and stuff.
I think we should move on, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
because Square wasn't really overall exciting. We just kind of felt like whatever.
Like, Platinum Game.
Platinum Game 5.
Is this live action? Oh, okay. It's
that was a weird game, but that's all I know it as right now.
Now for more weird, Ubisoft.
A big boy slipped.
A panda danced. A marching band marched.
They just danced.
Again.
And they showed some more of Beyond Good and Evil to Jade?
Yeah, that reveal was...
Yeah, she's back.
Compared
was
to
worried
last
that
year where
it
they
was
said
gonna be
before
hard.
the birth of Jade. Well, here's Jade. Excuse me.
I think it's more so like the world itself and like how this group came to be was before Jade, I think. But the actual game itself takes place like probably like not that long before Beyond the first Beyond Good and Evil, like maybe like a few years or so.
Yeah, she looked younger.
They said it was a young Jade, so it's nice to see further development of Beyond Good and Evil 2. The point where they brought up some interesting aspects to it, like apparently they have like a program for it where it's like have people submit content like artwork and music and stuff like that. I forget what it was called exactly. They had someone come in that runs a company. I think the guy who co-founded or hit record, something like that.
Yeah, that was Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was Elijah Wood.
No, Elijah Wood was a different game.
Oh right.
We're talking about Beyond Good
Yeah.
and Evil 2 still.
Yeah. Which
yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how to feel about this, because on one hand, it's interesting to see a game like try something where it's like, hey, we can have the community submit stuff. But on the other, it's like, how are they going to handle it to where the people who submit the content get credit that is due and not just
They didn't say it during the conference, but on Twitter, Joseph Gordon actually addressed that and said, like, yeah, this was something we accidentally glossed over. They get compensated or something.
Oh, so they are getting compensated.
Let me find that tweet. In the meantime, keep going.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where people were a bit worried about it. It's like are we gonna get actual compensation? Like, we're not gonna just throw our work out there for free, you know, because we don't want to be exploited because we don't want to be paid in exposure type of thing, you know. So that's what a lot of artists and stuff on like social media have to like struggle with. It's like no, we need actual compensation, not just being paid by exposure, you know. But if they are being compensated through the company that's handling this aspect, then I guess it would be cool to see how this will all work out and how it all came to be, type of thing.
In the meantime, they showed Assassin's boats.
Oh, Skull and Bones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks kind of cool, but even though I think it's primarily just focused on ship combat and stuff like that. But
Yeah. I mean, you kind of have a hub, but it doesn't seem like you do a lot there.
yeah, the aspect of like actually playing with like friends and like a fleet of different ships and different types of ships and stuff is pretty cool.
It's like, hey, you can work together to take down this big AI ship, and then you fight over the stuff. What will really happen is everyone's just going to fight each other first, and not the AI ship.
And then get defeated by the AI ship.
Yeah.
It's like 20 levels higher than you.
What came on after that? Was that when the big boy slipped, or was that before?
That was
No,
before.
Big Boy slipped really early on. That was when they showing off Trials, which was clever. Yeah, Trials was just sort of like, oh look, yay, more Trials. It hasn't changed its gameplay since 2006.
But they're still fun. Yeah.
But it's still fun, and it's like the main difference is that this Trials game was made like from community members. So people that have been playing Trials, speedrunners, map makers, and everything like that, is almost all the Trials were created by the community.
And apparently this one has a co-op mode where, like, basically think 2 controllers, 1 bike. So yeah, you're really gonna have to work together on that to like actually get through some of these kinds of levels. What came after Skull and Bones?
Oh, I'm not doing this in order.
Well, what did we not talk about?
The Crew 2. Moving on.
They didn't even say anything about the crew, did they?
You can still drive around a bunch of stuff.
Boats and planes.
Wait,
Boats.
did they even show the crew 2?
Yeah,
I do not even
motorcycles.
remember.
Boats.
I think they did,
Oh man, that must have been so forgettable then.
or at least a trailer of it.
Yeah, they just showed off the world a little bit, and boats.
They showed off boats last year. That's not news.
But boats.
And
No.
planes.
And planes and motorcycles. Are you sure? Because that's what's in the crew too.
Motorcycles is Trials. And Big Boy slipping.
This is
Anyway, For Honor added Chinese Wulin warriors.
Yeah. which
Yep,
is
I
pretty
remember
good,
that.
and a new game mode too.
I mean, I haven't played For Honor, but that's still pretty cool. Oh yeah, and they also mentioned that they're continuing. Like apparently, the support for it is still going strong for Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, they announced a documentary thing. That was bizarre show here, to be honest.
I mean, but I mean, if that game is still going strong, and especially in, like, I guess the esports community, then that's fine for them.
They showed Transference, which was a thing.
Yeah, and Elijah
That's-
Wood's part of it.
It's horror themed. It still has some mystery with it.
Something to do with uploading.
I'll
some
never get to
kid's
play it
consciousness
because
and
it's
his
VR.
dreams and stuff. And as per usual, since he's a kid, the monster looks like a Minecraft villain. But like even then, it's like it's probably it's a VR experience. I think you can play it on traditional console as well. You don't need to have VR for it.
Did they confirm that? Because if it was VR only, I would never be able
I'm fairly sure Elijah actually stated that he's like for VR and like original console and console play. I think he actually said it.
Okay.
We'll need to confirm, but that'd be nice
Yeah.
for that.
Gloss. I'm not sure if it was glossed over. They mentioned the Division 2 again. Mentioned the free DLC
Story packs.
packs as a response to Destiny 2, as you should.
And then came Donkey Kong Adventure.
Oh yeah, the DLC for
Oh,
Kingdom
rabbits.
Battle, where
yes.
Grant Kirkhope came out on stage to play some music.
Yeah, or he was the conductor for the bunch of people setting up their.
Yeah, that was nice to see. I do like how Ubisoft at least does that aspect. Like, I mean, of course they did the Just Dance stuff, like they always do. But it is nice to see, like with these conferences on stage, to do stuff like that at least.
Mhm.
So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, where there's a rabbit that is like cranky inspired.
Yeah, Cranky Rabbit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want, dude. Lanky needs to come back. I don't care if it's Rabbit or not. If Lanky's in there, they know. Starlink was something they revealed last year. They showed a bit more with one of the most unexpected out of nowhere reveals of Star Fox just being in it.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, new Star Fox game. You're in Starlink now. Yeah.
Well, you mean the racing game? We still don't know. Sources are still saying that's a real thing Retro's working on. We just don't know.
Maybe it's just not.
We just don't know that they are.
Maybe next Direct or something.
And they even had a little awkward moment with Miyamoto.
Miyamoto revealed himself and got assassinated. They took him backstage.
Him since, yeah.
Yeah, he's gone, man.
He wasn't even in the Nintendo Direct later on, too.
Well, still, I mean, it's we know which version of the game's going to sell the most now. So
Yeah,
Make sure you have
that's
15
gonna be
gigabyte download
which
because the
version of
card
the
wasn't
game.
enough.
obviously.
And then Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
CJ, remember, it's coming out this year. Clearly,
It's coming out this year. It looked when I was watching it, it looked a little rough. But now that I've watched the trailer again and I've watched the gameplay again, I may actually pick this up. Because I haven't picked up an Assassin's Creed in 6 years. When did 3 come out?
I don't remember. The last one I played was 4.
4 was
And that was sometime after 3. 3 was the last one I got, like, close around.
looks all right, and it's
I'm-
gonna be ancient Greece.
I'm interested to see how the choose your own adventure type of thing works. They've never done this before, so I have a feeling that it's going to be very plasticky, where it's like your choices really don't matter in the grand scheme of things, other than maybe Socrates is going to hate you more.
Socrates will remember that.
I
Yeah.
just hope we're not falling into the staleness trap again. After Assassin's Creed took a break and came back with Origins, I just don't want it falling into the loop.
Well, I'm definitely more, and it sounds weird because I'm definitely more interested in where Odyssey takes place than I was for Origins, even though I quite like ancient Egypt and the stories that come out of that. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I'm gonna say that I'm positively optimistic.
I just can't wait for Mario to show up there.
I want to say Ubisoft's thing last year was still better, but this was fine still. it still contains the typical Ubisoftness to it, like the usual suspects here. I felt very neutral during the whole thing. The Star Fox thing was like out of left field.
Yeah.
That was the one.
And it looks like it's gonna control really, really nicely too. Where I'm like, you know what? I'll play it.
And apparently,
the plastic ships bother me immensely because it feels like Skylanders 5.6.
You don't have to have it on your controller at all times, it seems.
So don't you want the full experience?
Yeah. I want to feel the weight of the starship on my controller.
The way of the R-Wing.
Again, you don't have to have it on your controller.
I want to feel what the real G diffuser feels like.
You're not going to feel that. F-Zero AX was the closest thing.
But yeah, no, that pretty much sums up Ubisoft.
Are we going to talk about PC Gaming Show? Because I actually napped through it.
I didn't watch it at all.
I didn't really. I don't think we really need to mention it.
I'm gonna speed through it, just to mention a few things. Number one, the duck.
Oh, yeah, that I was like questioning that.
It was a mascot for Drake's Cakes, and it did not need to be there as much as it did. But it was the usual, very kind of dry PC gaming show. It's not that they aren't showing good games, it's just the way they present them does nothing to really engage the viewer or create excitement about them.
That's how it's always been with the PC gaming conference.
There was one general surprise from it, though. It was the Sega section.
Yeah, Sega announced that a bunch of their games are coming to PC, namely Yakuza 0 and Kiwami, Valkyria Chronicles 4, Shining Resonance Refrain, and Shenmue 1 and 2.
Wait, did you say Shining? Uh-oh. I thought that was a banned
Podcast is
word.
done.
Oh, come on. This isn't 2012.
Never forget. But hey, PC players get to play fucking Yakuza. And Shenmue, I guess, but fucking Yakuza.
There were a couple Battle Royale games, which was unavoidable.
Oh, good thing I slipped through that.
Hitman 2.
Which was revealed prior.
And the one thing that made me glad I paid attention to this, Maneater. You know Jaws Unleashed? Like that, but an action RPG.
Oh. Oh, jeez.
Wait, was this the one where they mentioned you could level up your shark?
Yes.
Okay, I heard a little bit of it.
There is already a game called Depth that I play every once in a while on Steam.
It's from the same people, I think.
Oh, it is? Oh, excellent. I may actually play this then. Because I love Depth.
So, yeah, that was pretty much PC Gaming Show.
Sorry that we sped through it, but it just kind of like it was immediately after Ubisoft, and like some of us either didn't care or were exhausted, and it's just like the presentation of the show just hasn't really captivated us, and it's like we want them to, and stuff does get announced there, but it's just like sometimes we're just out.
You know what was captivating though? The showing for limited run games.
Oh man, I got to this a bit late and I was kind of laughing. I was bewildered at this amazing presentation. Shout outs to limited run games for their amazing low budget.
Yeah, they had a very cheap 3D theater that they were panning a camera around in with 2D cutouts of people in front of all the seats. Except for one where there was an actual guy cheering.
Yeah, but the green screen people that were actually the limited run games people were also 2D cutouts but green screen, and they always would like introduce stuff with like MIDI music, whether it be like licensed music or just straight up Doom music.
Here's a list of the MIDI songs they played. Big Pimpin', All Star, the X-Files theme, Steve Austin's theme, the Rocky theme, Take On Me, Wake Me Up Before You Go, E1M from Doom, and some Limp Bizkit just at the end.
Yeah, I caught that one. It's like, that's fucking Limp Bizkit.
So, I'm just shouting them out for their incredible production values.
I do it again next year. I don't care
Please.
It's the same. It's oh, please tell me the video's up on YouTube.
So yeah, they just announced a bunch of physical releases for games that are already out. I might actually get the Golf Story release.
Do you already have Ukulele?
Yes.
Okay, because physical Switch, which is like, oh, I already have it on PS4 physically.
But also, why do we need to keep remastering crappy FMV games?
Oh, yeah!
They're doing Double Switch 25th Anniversary Edition. Why?
It was double switch, yeah, which is another bad F&B game, kind of like Night Trap. So,
which also showed up here during the
Everybody needs to know the love that is the Sega Saturn.
CD.
CD. Oh, right, the CD, not the Saturn.
I mean,
Saturn. If you want
Saturn's-
Saturn, we need Burning Rangers.
Saturn had some F&B stuff early on, but it was mostly the Sega CD stuff that's like where Night Trap and all that came from. And as owner of some of those, yeah, I mean, I can see people being like, "Oh yeah, this is a fun, goofy thing just to look back on and play." And to be fair, these remasters, they usually have better quality footage and it's all in HD and stuff, which is fine if you want to actually play them. But I still think they're just garbage games that are just way too much of a product of their time and being like, "Hey, this is what we can do with CDs now." And then,
Well, it's funny you mentioned, hey, look what we can do, because we're on Sony's conference now.
oh boy,
Oh, God.
They decided to try something different this year.
It did not work.
I feel like I don't mind companies or conferences being experimental, but like it didn't work out.
So to sum up what they did, they started off in a tent that was modeled after a scene from Last of Us Part 2.
They said it was like a church, so
Quote unquote.
yeah.
But anyway, they had an intro, they had a guy come out and play music from the game, then they showed clips of the game, and then they said, "Alright, everyone, we're moving to another building, so stay tuned."
Yeah, so we had 15 minutes of people just kind of talking, doing slight nods to things, and
and the occasional trailer for a couple things.
yeah, they showed off the expansion to Destiny 2, I think.
Which had already had its
Forsaken or
own.
whatever.
It already had its own thing prior to E3, like maybe by at least a week or two.
Yeah. Well,
So
they killed Nathan Fillion, so
They mentioned God of War getting New Game Plus, too.
you're right,
Yeah, which is nice because that was requested.
or that they're working on it at least.
So after a lot of stalling, this was like half an hour, actually a little over a half an hour after they started. They were about 40 minutes into their presentation, and they only actually used the stage for one game.
Yeah, and it was Last of Us 2.
Which they showed like 11 or 12 minutes worth of like in-game footage.
Well, that leads us into Ghosts of Tsushima, which also had a musical intro.
Which I'm pretty excited for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started off with a flute guy. Now, here's the thing. When I saw the flute guy, I was worried, because, like, with Last of Us, they had the banjo guy. I forget the musician's name. He is well known.
Yeah, and he does the music. He did the music for Last of Us, so
Yes.
he's coming back.
But, like, when I saw the Ghost of Tsushima flute guy, it made me think, are they gonna just, like, move to another building after this one? And like, my hope for Sony was sinking fast. I was like, oh no. I got legit worried for the rest of the presentation, but it slowly came back. But
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima looking nice. I
Yeah.
want to see more.
And this is like an open world, like feudal Japan type of game, which I don't think we've really seen to that capacity.
It looks like it's semi-open world. Like
Or
they
semi,
have these
yeah.
big levels, but I don't think it's like you can just go from place to place. It's
Yeah,
more
it's
like big set pieces.
Yeah,
Also,
it's like you traverse
we-
across the fields and stuff.
We
Yeah.
glanced over Sekiro, by the way, from Microsoft, which is another feudal Japan-ish type of game from Software.
One of them has a bit more of a Tenchu vibe, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is looking nice.
It seems like it's going to be really, really interesting. Cool thing, didn't have a HUD,
Yes.
which I'm really interested to see if that's just they did that because of cinematic purposes, or are we going to have this sort of feeling of like actually playing a movie where you don't have like a HUD at all?
Well, when you're in these wide open, beautiful environments like that, it really helps to not have a HUD or be as minimalistic as possible.
Or at the very least, have
Yeah.
an option to just toggle off the HUD, you know?
Yeah, well, it's like Shadow of the Colossus did that.
Hell, even God of War did that recently. You can have the HUD like pretty much
Yeah,
off.
it was either like it's just in the corner to show something, or it shows up when you do something, but then disappears when you're just fiddling around in the world.
Oh, kind of like how Donkey Kong Country did that, where it's like the banana counters and
yeah.
life counters only pop up for like a second. That's actually one of the first instances of like a nearly HUD-less game, if you think about it, to show off all the graphics.
Yeah, the graphics. But from what we saw, I'm pretty stoked. Like they can only do some serious bad crap to it to really make me not be like, I'm gonna buy this. Like they'd have to put and now featuring micro samurai transactions or something. They'd have to really, really try hard to screw it up.
Yeah, but this is Sucker Punch, so I think it's a safe bet. It'll be really good.
Yeah.
So, going more through Sony, they showed another Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, this time with Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, a different trailer, but the big theme between all three of these trailers is the weird decision to not have sound effects but voiceover grunting.
Well, it's because they were showing off the English version of the theme. Because we've listened to the Japanese version of the theme from the get-go, but we haven't had an English version. And then they're like, well, we're going to show off this and we're going to show off our lyrics and stuff. Now, we can say, the game isn't finished, it doesn't have sound effects. No, it was a design choice to showcase the song over the sound effects.
It was a bad design choice. It made the trailer funnier. Yeah. It wasn't a good choice. I have a hot take. Weakest song out of all three. Weakest. Sorry. It is the weakest.
It's really, the thing is, the problem is it lacks a lot of context.
Welcome to Kingdom Hearts.
What was being played did not really coincide with what was happening to the characters. The biggest super reveals that happened during that was the fact that apparently Aqua has been Xehanorted, so she's evil now, and that Axel and Kairi are actually in the game because a lot of people were worried that they were just like gone. So yeah, we got to see Kairi's new outfit, and yeah, Aquanort is a thing. Those were the big super lore speculation things. Like, how did she get Xehanorted? And what are Kairi and Axel doing looking at the sunset and talking about Kairi's new haircut?
Well, my big question is, why did the feed, when they were revealing Control, new game from Rowdy, just cut to a camera facing the bottom of the commentary desk?
Oops. That was probably a goof up. It's like they meant to switch to the stage, but it's like, oop, wrong thing.
And it was right at the climax of the trailer too. Anyway.
Well, it's the same thing that happened during the Ghost of Tsushima. Was at least the Twitch stream was having some serious issue on playback. So they were having some technical difficulties behind the scenes there during their thing. Whether it had anything to do with the venue or themselves, we'll never know. But yeah, it was just one of those things that happened during it.
Keeping with feudal Japan, Neo 2 is a thing.
So now we have 3 feudal Japan-ish games.
Feudal Japan and pirates.
Yeah.
That's the theme of the C3.
Apparently they showed gameplay at the show floor. And I'm like, wait, what?
Wow.
But I didn't see it myself.
Other games they showed, RE2 Remake, They Still Do It.
Yeah!
Yeah. We can do it. We
do it! Fucking great reveal again.
Maybe now I'll finally actually play through Resident Evil 2.
And man, I watched some extended gameplay of it after it, and man, it looks really friggin' good.
January 25th.
Capcom may be crapping the bed when it comes to its fighting games right now, but every other one of its properties, it is just killing it.
Capcom had a really good E3.
Maybe they should consider bringing back another fighting game like Anyway, they showed Trover Saves the Universe, which is apparently from the Rick and Morty people.
Okay.
It was not funny at all.
It came right after Resident Evil 2. I'm just I'm sorry.
Well, you have to remember, it's for a higher echelon of people.
Oh my god.
Right?
Rubba Lubba, go fuck yourself.
I know, that part of the fan base aside, but it's still I don't know. Is it VR? I can't remember. Or is it
I don't care. Anyway.
Yeah.
3 words. Death Stranding gameplay. I think.
Yeah.
It's Amazon Prime delivery.
Yeah, Backpack Simulator. It's great. How much shit can you store on Norman Reedus's back?
Apparently you could just up to just a bunch of bodies and boxes and stuff.
And hey, we know his character's name. His name's Sam.
His name is Sam. So we can keep calling him Norman Reedus.
And finally, they showed a fair amount of Spider-Man.
Oh wow, yeah, that Spider-Man thing was really cool.
Like, I don't give a shit about Spider-Man, but I'm actually interested in this.
Insomniac doing work,
Yeah,
and it
it's fucking
shows.
good.
I feel like if Sony would have cut down their presentation by 20 minutes, this could have been like a fairly good showing, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
it was the venue. It was the venue. That was the biggest problem. Is like thinking it was a smart move to be like, oh yeah, we could totally move, hundreds and thousands of people from one venue to another in a very short amount of time.
and then just sort of like just they were literally just killing time by like talking to developers and showing a trailer now and then during the transition, but it just killed the pace.
Yeah.
My big problem with
Sony.
yes, Sony. I was just gonna say this conference, but like, it was just that whole venue thing just put a fear in my mind about how the rest of it was gonna go. They picked themselves back up, but like, for an experiment, I'd say just don't try this again.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm sure they're listening to.
Pretty sure they got
to
the
that
feedback.
type of stuff. They got the message when it came to that.
But
Excuse me.
but Sony gave me Remake, while Microsoft gave CJ DMC.
Yeah.
Good Capcom.
Thank you, Capcom.
Also, Capcom would be a good time to bring back Onimusha because of all the samurai games.
Maybe that's up
the
next.
thing about Control. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, is this another Infamous?
No, I thought it was another
That's what I saw.
Break. Because that game was actually fresh on my mind because I played it a couple months ago.
Okay.
So, and I remember how the visuals looked, and I'm like, this could be Remedy, and then like it was, and I'm like, wait, I thought Remedy was owned by Microsoft. That's not.
And that brings us to the final presentation, we'll call it, for E3, Nintendo. They actually started off by showing a new property, Demon X Machina.
Mm-hmm.
It's intriguing.
It looks like a mixture of Zona Enders and Armored Core, from what it looks like. Just on my my first two viewings of the trailer, where I'm seeing like the way that they have the map set up being very Armored Core like, but the movement is not clunky like Armored Core.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure this will be good for your mech fix, for anyone's mech fix, really.
After that, we got an announcement that there was Xenoblade 2 DLC. It was kind of vague what exactly that was. And then I watched the Treehouse stream where they demoed this. Shulk and Fiora appear as blades.
Yes, and in a new combat challenge mode where it's like a tower of challenges and stuff for the combat. And that treehouse thing, I watched a little bit of it too. I'm like, man, they're like level locking you and doing all types of things. It may actually be really interesting to dive into that if you're big on the challenge type thing, because it can be very unforgiving if you're not very aware of how Xenoblade plays. So I'm looking forward to that. And the DLC looks like it takes place before the events that happen in Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I believe it is a prequel, because even though I'm not super far in the game, I'm far enough to know that this looks prequel-ish as shit. I need to finish that game. I need to continue playing it. That challenge DLC, just see like the Shulk and Fiora. I'm like, God damn it! I should.
Especially with Shulk, where he's like, "Where's the Monado?" I was like, there he is.
Right
it's
here.
the same voice actor too, which I was really excited for.
Wait,
too.
it's new?
No, he's not a new. It's the returning. It's the returning guy.
Yeah, they got him.
Consistency.
Consistency.
You know what else is consistent? Not having a Mario Party game where you're forced to play with each other. You can just say, fuck you, I'm taking your star. Super Mario Party.
I like your attitude. Oh, wait.
But I will state that I quite like the idea of two switches, and like certain mini games can be altered on how you interact with the two switches.
Quick
I mean, it would be
note.
terrible to try and like get gameplay footage of that, but at the same time, it would be really fun to do it with people that have multiple switches.
Yeah, because like you can't hook it up to TV if you do that. Quick note: they said that there is online, but it's like for mini games only.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
That's not bad. There's something.
They're getting there.
They're getting there.
Super Mario Party 2. Then we'll have proper online play.
They showed the new Fire Emblem.
3 houses.
3 houses.
Yeah, and it's on Switch. So
I was pretty excited when they were showing it, but after watching the trailer a couple of times, it does have me a little worried. It felt, I think it was Radiant Dawn, which was on the Wii. It had a very similar feel to it, where, I don't know, maybe it's because I've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem Warriors, where I'm like, this is what I want to play. I want more of an action adventure type of Fire Emblem game on a console, whereas in strategy is really good on the handheld where you do it. Though there are some good things and bad things, is it feels like it's going to be fast but somewhat slow at the same time. So I'm a little concerned on how it is, but because the Switch is handheld, it may work in its benefit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to bring this series back to a home console, but at the same time it's a Switch, so it still can be a handheld entry anyway for those that like, because Fire Emblem has been on the 3DS for quite a few years now.
And a lot of the features that were sort of taken out of Echoes, that a lot of people were like, meh, Echoes doesn't have my waifu wars, where they can't like breed.
I'm just gonna stop you here.
People together.
Yeah, stop.
It's back in this one.
We got a small deluge of games that were coming to Switch. Hollow Knight, Killer Queen Black, Paladins, Overcooked 2, Fortnite.
Yeah, whatever. It's just
Hollow Knight plays amazingly on the Switch, by the way. I bought it.
I was about to say Hollow Knight just plays amazing.
Just Hollow Knight is perfect for the Switch. It's just like how I say it's like the best thing that I've played since like Celeste when it comes to indie games.
Oh yeah,
like, I know it's been out on every other platform imaginable, but
well, that's the thing with the indie games on the Switch. They're actually doing really well on that platform. Like some are even like it's like the best-selling version, like the Switch version for those games. That's how good it's doing.
And then after this, they went into Let's Go Pokemon and explained that Pokeball Pluses include Mew, so you don't have to push a bunch of trucks around to get it.
Yeah, but it's locked to the Pokeball thing, so kind of paid DLC if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you get a Pokeball thing.
But like a lot of people, like I'm totally cool if that's the way you can get Mew. That's not a bad reason to do it, rather than being like, go to EB Games at 8 a.m. in the morning and line up to the special kiosk where they give you fucking DLC codes, or you have to do a special mock battle with this badly designed DS thing. This happened a while ago. This was back during the original Sun and Moon launch, where you had to go into an EB or a GameStop in America, and you had to like make this mock battle against this setup DS. Like it wasn't like the people operating. It was like the CPU controlled DS thing. It was really, really dumb. So I'd rather not have to do really, really cliche dumb shit like that and just buy a little plastic ball that does work with the Switch system and Pokemon Go and everything in between. So it's not too bad.
And then the rest of the thing was Smash.
No,
Did we miss one?
there's a new demo for Octopath Traveler.
Oh yeah. And then the rest of Smash.
Where you can play as all the 8 now. It used to be just the prologues of, I think, like 2 people.
Yes.
The Dancer and the Knight, I think.
And your save data can carry over to the full game.
Yeah.
Now we get to Smash. So, big thing about this one, Smash Bros. Ultimate, every character that was in a past Smash is going to be in this Smash. And then they also announced quote-unquote Echo characters. Daisy is in. For new characters, they said...
Wow.
Exactly, the Inklings are in.
Wow.
Nope. Denied.
No, forever to assist trophy.
Forever an assist trophy.
And KO'd live on stream. No respect.
Well, that's what you can do with assist trophies now, which is actually kind of neat. It's like
that,
defend yourself from them.
There's quite a lot of like small changes to the game that I'm pretty excited for. Like having the just guarding, having detrimental returns on constantly dodging and stuff.
Yeah, so you don't just roll spam all the time.
Yeah, so I'm really interested to see how that plays in, not only competitively, but just in regular matches with people. You know, every stage now has an Omega and a Battlefield version.
They also added that this would support all Amiibo and GameCube controllers. And they added one new roster member. Hey Sam is gonna join the Smash roster! Ah!
Too tall to fit.
Too big, but hits the big time.
No, he's just kind of crouched down to make him smaller.
Have you seen him stand up?
Yeah, he's actually kind of tall.
Looks so dumb.
Yeah, he's big. He's actually big still. Not like as big as he should be, but
Yeah.
and also probably the best Smash trailer where Mario and Mega Man just straight up get murdered, and Samus, not even batting an eye, just lets out a long
It's like,
sigh.
oh, again. Okay.
You don't
Yeah,
fucking
okay.
quit.
Well,
I'm fucking
December-
done with this.
December
Ridley's
7th.
My favorite part is just Ridley twirling Mario's hat.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he does in Odyssey, yeah.
Yeah, December 7th. Please be excited for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah.
Nintendo, a
Right.
quick but effective showing.
No Prime 4, but it wasn't ready.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would rather
Fox
it be
Racing.
like they show gameplay and they're like, guess what? It's coming out in 6 months. That's what I want to see. type of deal.
And no Star Fox
Yeah.
Racing. Let the dream be real eventually.
Yeah.
Come on, Retro.
Yeah.
And I guess we're supposed to be remiss and say, oh, the Animal Crossing, everybody's so disappointed there isn't a new Animal Crossing. I'm like,
People put down fucking pentagrams for Animal
I think
Crossing. and it
I'm
still
gonna
doesn't
side.
work.
I'm gonna side with how Pro Jared stated is the idea that we should rate and say what we like about what was shown, not what we thought was going to be shown, right? Like, yeah, I can be disappointed that I didn't get to see something that I wanted to see, but that I don't make it take away from the excitement that was somewhat like knowing that certain things like Octopath Traveler, having a proper demo, it looks like it's going to be good, getting a couple of release dates on certain things. And you know what? I'm pretty excited for Smash, even though I'm not a big smasher or anything like that. It's just sort of like, no, this direct was designed specifically for the people that are like, new Smash? When Smash?
yeah,
Smash now?
this was primarily
Smash
Smash
later,
focused.
but close.
And besides, it's not like we're gonna get more directs later down the road anyway. That'll probably show off more Prime 4. Maybe we'll get announcements for that supposed Star Fox Racing game and maybe a new Animal Crossing. It's just one of those things. You just have to just be patient and just wait.
Yeah, and if you think about it, them not showing a possible Star Fox Racing game during E3 was smart because the backlash would have been fucking ginormous during E3 time.
Well, it's more so. It's like we got the Star Fox and the
and Mario Party is actually like a lot of people don't realize that Mario Party's got a big following.
But after 9 and 10, it's I'd say it's faltered a bit. But maybe people will still hop on this one too
Oh yeah,
because it doesn't seem to play like 10 at least.
yeah. Like 10 was the last straw for us at least.
Well, for
I still had a little bit of enjoyment out of
for
9.
a lot of like the core Mario Party players. It's funny
Yeah.
enough to say.
And just to wrap up some things about Nintendo, they had the Splatoon 2 Invitational, Team Japan won,
Yay.
Not surprising.
and they had a Smash tourney. Zero came out of retirement and won it again.
Okay.
Not our Zero. The Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure.
And here comes Zero Master, just randomly.
He just
Imagine if that
wins.
actually happened. We would have lost our shit.
Okay, that took a while. I'm actually going to postpone viewer questions to next week's podcast. So let's just go straight into what's new. Anything that you're working on. And I will go first because this is going to be very quick. I've started recording more Lexa Book.
I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Never-ending
Next.
series.
Next, I'll go next. It's not much. I mentioned most of the stuff last podcast. That's still in the cards. I haven't started Anime North video yet. Big reason why I haven't done anything yet. I'm moving my room to another room, so I'm not going to work on anything until everything is moved over. So far, only the bed and a couple things have been moved over. Computer and games are going to be last. Fortunately, there's going to be a delay on stuff. And who knows? Future videos, location's going to look a little bit different. Hopefully, the lighting's not shit. That's all I've got. Next.
I got my next video it's still in the works, but it is going to be coming out, I swear. And I basically have some ideas for stuff coming out afterwards too. So it's more behind the scenes ideas and stuff that I'm working on, and that's pretty much it.
As for me, there's two things that are out now. The first, probably the biggest thing, is finally me and Zero and Vegeta 3986 released Naruto Shippuden. Or not Naruto Shippuden, just Naruto the Abridged series, episode 32. So that is actually a thing after 8 years. of waiting, a new episode is out. And then also the recent 100 Base podcast came out where me and Zero talked about Han, Star Wars story, and we went into spoilers and everything. So be aware of spoilers if you do go over there. And then on my review side, my review is finished. I'm just waiting on a commission art, which I just got the rough draft of like a couple of days ago. And it looks awesome. So once that's done, most likely in the next, probably, I'm going to say 2 weeks maximum, that review will be out and ready to go. So that's it.
I still can't believe I got Sea of Thieves out before your video. I still refuse that I believe it, but whatever.
You did it. You did, though. I told
did
you
it.
were going to.
I think I broke 100. I don't know. I haven't checked.
You did it. And now the podcast is coming to an end. So I'm SCXCR.
I'm Unreal.
I'm Blondeguygamer.
I am the CanadianJutsu.
And say it with me. We do it!
We do it! Yeah.
Do it. We did the
We did the podcast again.